Hey guys, this is the XRP Cowboy. Hey, this is Billy. Are they protecting the traditional market? Are they trying to? They're trying to prevent the biggest transfer of wealth, or are they trying to maintain their wealth? We shall see.
I'm an axe grinder, pile driver. Mama says that I never mind her. Got no brains, I'm insane. The teacher says that I'm one big pain. I'm like a laser, a six razor.
Mouth like an alligator. I want it louder,
More power, I'm gonna rock until it strikes the hour.
bang your head. Computer off. That's an old song I haven't heard in years. Oldie but a goodie. So there's this idea that the greatest transfer of wealth is going to happen, when crypto becomes like mainstream. It's adopted. The utility is adopted. The switch is flipped. But there's this strong possibility that it's just like physics. You put 100 pounds you punch a fucking wall with 100 pounds of pressure, you're gonna get 100 pounds of pressure back into your fist, into your arm, into your body, into your heart. And I have to believe that these motherfuckers are gonna try to protect themselves. And this could be what this is. How does that look? How does a transfer of wealth happen? I mean, if crypto started taking off, wouldn't all the wealthy people, just buy crypto? But the problem is it's going to be too late by the time they do it, because this is what they'd have to do. I look at crypto as a great investment for everybody. You got these young kids in college taking the money their parents are sending them, they're buying crypto so they don't have to finish college, so they don't have to work a job, so they can sit on their ass and live their best life. Good for them. Good for them. Then you've got the people that are like me, just working their job, doing what they do. And, they have families and they're trying to provide for their families and give them their best life. So we can sit on our ass, but it's, and I reference sit on your ass, just meaning do what we want to do. We're trying to buy our time. These kids might beat us to it, in the scheme of life from an age perspective. But then there's another class of people. They're the retired people living off their 401k. I think this is the most vital class, because they can't make any more money. And if the stock market crashes, they're done. They're living off of me and those kids we were talking about. So I believe every age group should have crypto. The reason for the senior, the first two class people age in age is obvious. But the seniors, they should, if they put 2 to 5% of their portfolio, the day may come, that will become 90% of their portfolio, because they're limited to where their gains can be. Now, sure, they would have to sell some of their traditional market stocks, securities. But I think they have a responsibility to do that, because what if? So we have that, and that leads to this. So now, what's this look like? The OGs, the people that got in today will be looked at as, OGs in this space, much like the people that got in before 18. And people that got in a lot sooner than that are just brilliant, but tip my hat to you. I know I wanted to get in 15, but a close person in my life told me it was all a scam, and I trusted them. But eventually I saw the light. So I got in summer of 17. But what's going to happen is people are going to start buying crypto. They're going to make gains. But you only have so much liquidity available. So with the great gains they're making, significantly higher than the traditional stock market, we see 10x, 100x's in some things, a year in crypto, to whereas, if you have a growth stock, you might get a 1x, a growth tech stock or something. So what's going to happen is all these investors, retail investors, they're going to start, seeing the opportunity. So they're going to start selling securities, their stock, their traditional market stocks like Apple and stuff like that. And they're just going to sell a little bit more. But eventually what will happen is greed sets in, and we'll see maybe 20% of the traditional market, flow out of it. But the problem is we're not talking about 20% of the market cap. We're talking about 20% of the input cash liquidity. So that could turn the traditional market. I don't even know how to do the math, but I know you take 20% of the cash out of the traditional market, we're going to see a crash that you've never seen before, and it's probably going to look more like 30 to 40% nosedive. And this is the moment when the biggest transfer of wealth happens, because most of the whales don't want to see us swim. They own stock in property. Okay? So ultimately, the stock's going to crash. You're going to lose money, they'll start liquidating property, or they'll sell property because the gains are greater in crypto. It's the same. Whether you have securities or investment properties, you're going to find cash to buy crypto at some point once it's mainstream and adoption sets in. And you'll still be reasonably early because the gains will still be great. There's people that would think a 50% gain in a year is significant. And it would trump any standard, traditional stock or property. So that is the moment. It's a new asset class, and there's hardly any money in it. Just food for thought. So it's like you've got these people that are forced to protect their livelihood. It does not surprise me that Warren Buffett frowns upon crypto. It threatens his livelihood. Warren Buffett's business model was simple. Consumer goods that people buy, like, say, Coke, and knowing what he knew, the population was increasing every year, which would mean those consumer goods would increase in price. But unfortunately, the last few decades, we're seeing human beings. There's a bear market for human beings. And what I mean is there isn't enough people being born. So if you look back, I'd have to say my parents' generation, they were having kids right out of high school. And then I think when I was in high school, people were having kids in their mid-20s, if my memory is right. And then it turned into their early 30s. And now we're seeing people having kids at 40. So what that implies is that Warren Buffett's business plan has a chink in the armor the last really decade, and the growth isn't there. Therefore, governments need to change rules and laws. And my ideology is between Dem or Republican is they were just designed to make us think we have a decision because they fight across the aisle. They fight with each other. It's not a me versus you or you versus me. I believe they were just created to make us feel like we have a choice, because I see Democrats do Republican things and Republicans do Democratic things. And that's why I'm a libertarian. I voted on both sides. Sometimes I regretted that later, but the whole idea is we're seeing, and this is very touchy, but with the new, I'm going to walk around this a little, the freedom of choice with birth, how it's being taken away from people. I don't think that this is a Dem or Republican thing, even though it looks that way on TV. I believe this is a population thing. And now, like magic, we're going to start seeing people have kids, back, right out of high school, maybe in high school again, and the population will go up. Another form of protecting the traditional market. And I believe if they can, the SEC can, regulate things with the Congress, and they turn, which I don't think they're going to be able to do, but if they could turn crypto into a security and you have to be an accredited investor to buy it, mission accomplished. The rich stay rich and the poor get poorer. They're all brothers, make no mistake. And remember when Brad Garling's house said, we're working with the man. All he was saying was, you were a snake when you met me. And you guys know the story. If you don't, a guy finds a snake that's injured, or a girl, or a woman, or they or them, who knows, and nurses it back to health. And then one day, the snake bites him, and he says, why'd you bite me? And the snake, while he was laying there dying from the venom, And the snake simply replied, "You knew I was a snake when you met me. Make no mistake, all Ripple cares about is adoption, money movement, cross-border payments, bank partnerships, Nostro-Vostro accounts, mine in your account, derivatives market. All these things is what they care about. I'm not saying they don't like us. I'm saying they don't need us.